Donte. We were asked a couple of the guys after the game yesterday that this hasn't happened very often for this team for a few years. What is kind of the mood, the sense? Is it a little different than, losing those couple of games, New Orleans, Charlotte type of deal, or where are you guys kind of at headspace wise, attitude wise?
I think for us, we just got to get better, honestly. And we haven't been good enough in the last 4 games. And I mean, that's shown. So I think it starts with our competitiveness and our ability to compete day in and day out. I think the guys really, watch film. You guys hone in on just the competing factor. You see some of the teams we're playing against. Like I said, after the OKC game, teams are going to get up to play us. They're going to be ready to play us. They want to play Milwaukee Bucks. So we have to match their energy night in and night out.
Jrue is such a good overall player. I think to not have him would be probably folly to think you guys wouldn't be affected by that, right? But where has maybe his absence affected you guys most, do you think, not having him?
Overall for the team, and he's one of our leaders. You look at our big three with Giannis, Chris, and Jrue. When one of those pieces is missing, obviously we're missing that leadership from him. Personally, just that edge he brings defensively. I think I've talked about it all year long with his guarding ability and his the way he approaches every game. It allows me to kind of follow the way he's doing it and try to match what he's doing defensively. So personally, with him not out there, that's the thing I'm battling, is still being able to try to guard everybody and take on, honestly, his matchup that he would have. But overall, it's just the leadership that he brings and the communication that he brings.
Eric Name?
This year kind of gives you guys that opportunity where you play the same team twice in a row to, we didn't do something right this game, we can do it better the next one. When you kind of think about trying to slow down Fred VanVleet, kind of what do you think you guys can do better on Thursday and just making it tougher on him defensively?
Just be more simple and just compete harder. I think he thrives on you kind of making a mistake, and he takes advantage of it. I think if you just stay solid on him and make it difficult, now listen, he's a hell of a player. He's going to make some tough shots, but we want to make him make tough shots and not give him the easy ones to get him going. I think when we make little mistakes on the ball guarding and he gets easy ones and gets going and gets to feeling himself, that's when he starts making ones and gets other guys involved. So that's when he's dangerous. I think for us, we just got to stay solid on him and make it hard on him.
I know the other day I was talking to Bud about the reject where a lot of guards now kind of know that you guys are trying to feed into the screens and just reject it. How do you kind of combat that? Like, obviously part of the scheme is pushing them into it, but obviously teams kind of know that that's the counter now.
Honestly, it's me a lot in that pick and roll, just guarding those guys and basically just waiting on it. I think you see sometimes with myself, I'll try to jump to get through the screen because I'm so worried about not getting screened from these big dudes that as soon as I jump, he reads it. That's what he's looking for. That's what I was talking about in terms of he's waiting for you to make a mistake. That's one of those mistakes. I think with us, if you just stay solid and make him go over the screen and use my size and athleticism to play either behind him or try to get back in front, I think we'll be in a lot better position.
I guess this league is so pick and roll heavy now. Like, that's every possession and probably multiple times per possession that you're having to fight through a screen. Just what have you kind of learned about trying to do that? I know Blood was so good at just kind of being able to fight through them. Drew's very good as well. Just kind of what have you picked up over the years?
Listen, since I got in the league, I had Bled doing it. Now I have Jrue doing it. So I have great dudes to watch, to try to mimic and try to learn from. So honestly, just keep competing. I think you're going to make mistakes defensively. You're going to make mistakes offensively. They're not going to read the right read every single time. So I think the biggest thing for myself and everybody on the court running those pick and rolls is just compete. I think it hides a lot of the mistakes, technical mistakes. And when you're competing, they don't know what you're doing. So I think that's the biggest thing.
Steve McGargy.
Eric had mentioned that this was a kind of a back-to-back situation. You've had a couple of these back-to-backs already, I believe. I'm just wondering, what's been your feel for these so far? What's been the take, and just what's it like playing a team 2 straight times like this?
I think it's cool. I mean, it's a little taste of like what the playoffs would be like, and I think it's good for us to kind of like Eric said earlier. Is like if you make mistakes in the first game, what can you do right to try to beat the same exact team the next day? I think that's big for us at going into the later half of the year and into the playoffs because. One is short-term memory, but also is like you need to learn and how to adjust. And it's kind of cool where you don't have to play a team on a Tuesday and you don't play him for another 2 months. You get to play him literally in 48 hours. So it's pretty cool.
All right, Christos from Greece.
Hello, Dante. I would like to ask you, what did you learn from last night's game? What was the biggest lesson for your team? And how important is the presence of Jrue on and off the court for the team?
I mean, last night was just competing. That word just sticks out to me. Just compete on both ends. Run them, transition, and just compete on the defensive end, offensive end. I mean, it sums up everything. Rebounds, compete for loose balls, compete through pick and rolls. I think that's what sticks in my mind. And then Jrue, like I said, his leadership on and off the court. I think he's a good basketball player, but a better person. And when we have him in the locker room, he keeps guys level-headed, he keeps guys positive, and he keeps guys ready to compete every night.
All right, one more to Zora.
I'm jumping in late here, Dante, so excuse me if it was asked before, but I just wanted to ask about the pace of the Raptors. Did you notice anything of just how fast they were moving the basketball up and down? I mean, you guys could make a shot, and they were just getting in their offense really quickly. What does that force you all to do?
I think that, yeah, I mean, that's something they were yelling out and trying to emphasize is push it. You saw a couple times where they would get into the paint within 3 seconds. And I think for us, we just got to maintain the ball better in those situations, not let them get to the paint, collapse our D. And if we can stay in front of them, I think that clears up a lot for us.
Thanks.
All right, great. Thank you, Dante.